It's Thursday on Jasiri, and today we're celebrating brilliance, impact, and the power of women's stories. Now, the ELOY Awards 2025 is once again spotlighting women who are building, leading, shaping industries, and rewriting the narrative of what excellence looks like in Nigeria. It's a moment to applaud the work being done behind the scenes and on the front lines, women rising, creating, and opening doors for others. And speaking of impact, we're also bringing you part 2 of our conversation with Sola Oyebade, where we dive deeper into the realities that men face, the pressures they rarely discuss, and how we can build a healthier gender conversation in our society. It's a full inspiring Thursday on Jasiri. Now let's get right into it. But first, Lola.
Yes. But first, we have a beautiful new face joining us. You've seen her on your screens, taking us through the news and News Central. Welcome with us, Queen Celestine. Welcome for the first, but I'm very sure it's not your last time.
Wow.
Welcome, Queen. It's good to have you on the same table as us.
Good morning. I think I haven't seen Dash in a long time, so yeah, I'm happy to be here. And Lola, of course.
She called me the other day and she was like, she missed me so much. When am I coming back and all that?
Like we were so many that missed Dash. It was such a pain to know that I did miss it.
Good morning.
So how have you been, Celeste?
It's been good.
How do you feel being on this Jasiri table for the first time?
My first time here, and even before we got on, the conversations we had behind the scenes, makeup room and everything, it's been beautiful.
All right, so there's something we love to do. Let's quickly put you on the spot for a few minutes.
Wow.
We're going to borrow this from Literati and do this rapid fire. So no thinking. First thing that pops into your head. Okay? Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah, drum roll.
So what's the one topic that you could talk about non-stop without preparation?
Food.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay, so now that it's quick questions, because we have so many things to get into. What's the biggest misconception you think people have about being on TV?
Wow. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people think, being on TV is all glam, but they don't talk about, the people behind the scenes. Sitting down here, I'm sure we have like 7 people behind the camera making sure that we look the way we look. So I feel like a lot of people think it's all, it's cute, it's nice, but you don't know the chaos behind. So it's organized chaos. Yeah.
Okay, that's
all right,
good.
so what's the most controversial opinion you're willing to share on live TV safely?
Well, I think a lot of people, especially Nigerians, we think about hustling. Let me hustle, and we don't rest. And when you don't rest, that's when you start seeing all the things, all the negativity you don't want to see, the pressure. Of course, we have insecurity. So I would advise that we should talk about rest, because rest is also part of the journey. It's an assignment.
I say that all the time. Some people, especially in some states, they don't know how to rest. They don't understand it.
Yes. All right. Everybody
have more.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Not too many, but everybody has a habit that they're working on all the time. So what's one habit you have that you wish you can break? You're trying to break, but it hasn't broken yet.
I would say overthinking. Oh, I'm rushing to work. Will I get there 10 minutes before? What would they say? How would they say? The producer, oh God, I did not check the script. What am I going to read? How am I going to say? I just need to breathe. It's not that deep. Well, it's deep, but yeah, it's one thing I'm working on.
All right, so last one, I promise. Okay, so if you had a warning label, right, what would it say?
Wow, don't judge the book by its cover.
Yeah, we're not about to. Warning, alert.
Yeah, so don't judge the book by its cover.
Oh, okay.
I'm more than meet the eye.
Yeah. Okay, it's good to know.
I like that. It's every pretty girl's mantra now.
Wow.
Beauty and brains together.
All right, it's definitely nice to have you on the show, Queen, and hopefully this will not be your last, just as Lola has actually said. So we'll take a quick break, and I love it when we bring our people on the show. We get to see another side of them, and so does the audience. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about women, impact, and recognition. Stay with us.
Welcome, you're on to Jasiri. Now, let's talk about celebrating women who build, lead, innovate, and push boundaries. And at the center of that celebration is one of Nigeria's strongest platforms for women's empowerment, the ELOY Awards. For 17 years, the ELOY Conference and Awards has, amplified female excellence and created opportunities for growth, connection, and visibility. But beyond the glitz and recognition, it has become a movement shaping conversations and redefining what leadership looks like for women across Nigeria. So joining us today is the woman in chief, yes, the woman that is seated behind the vision. Please help me welcome Dr. Tewa Onasanya. How are you, Dr. Tewa?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Tewa, it's kind of like, I want to know, Tewa.
Well, since they're giving me the honors to ask you the first question, and it's my first time here.
Fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we've seen that the ELOY Awards has been running for 17 years. Yes. And congratulations on, sustaining the awards. Now let's talk about your original vision. Right. How has your original vision evolved up until, 17 years after?
Wow, greatly moved. I mean, I always say that the vision is clearer. Hello, everybody, by the way.
Hello.
I always say that the vision is getting clearer and clearer every year. When we started the ELOYs in 2009, the aim was to celebrate women of excellence in different fields because we thought there aren't that many, there weren't any events that celebrated women. And we're like, are there not women doing exceptionally well in different fields so that other women could emulate or be inspired by them? Hence, we thought of the ELOY Awards, and the main thought was to celebrate women of excellence. But over the years, it has now evolved into a foundation that not only celebrates women, but also sustains women empowerment. So we're talking about training women for entrepreneurial development, putting the proper business structure in place, information on affordable finance, mentoring, and all of those that make women get to the top that they want to get to, so to speak. So the vision has even gone bigger than what it originally was. And we're so excited. This is our 17th year.
Yeah.
Wow. Just like yesterday. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
My age.
Beautiful.
Even
Your
I'm
age,
17.
Oh my goodness. All right, now the ELOY Conference and Awards, has actually been a major empowerment,
Yes.
platform for women in Nigeria. We've stated that, and I think I was a nominee. I think in 2020. You don't remember?
Yeah.
That was where I met Lolo.
That's where I met Gavin.
In 2022, yes, I remember coming from Abuja.
My nomination is coming in front.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting,
Thank you.
event. I enjoyed it so much. But then, what would you say has been the most significant impact over the years?
Oh, wow. We have many milestones that we can talk about, and not just for the foundation, but for people who have been nominated or who have won the awards or who have come through the ELOY Awards Foundation process. We've been able to sustain women empowerment by giving trainings to so many women, so many business women across different parts of Nigeria. So we're not just based in Lagos, where, we have our HQ in Lagos, but we go to different parts of Nigeria to empower women with information on how to build thriving businesses. And every single person, I strongly believe, that have gone through the ELOY platform has gone on to bigger and better things. And it's so interesting to see that some people before the ELOY recognition were coasting, and then after the ELOYs, be it a nominee or a winner, they've gone on to, to be a better expression of themselves, and they're getting more excited because obviously they're now recognized and they feel seen. No matter what we're doing, no matter who we are, we want to be seen. At least we want to know that we're doing something that people resonate with. So yeah, those are the kind of things. We've given grants to women as well on the platform. Thousands of women have been trained on the platform. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah, wow. Because you've been doing this, 17 years is a long time. 17th Global ELOY Conference and Awards. What's the uniqueness to this year? What should the attendees be expecting? Because I have attended a lot of almost all the ELOYs for 17 years. I think I've attended the bulk of it. What's the unique thing that attendees should be looking forward to this year?
Right. Thanks for that. So the unique thing every year is that because there's so many different categories that women are doing exceptionally well in, we can't give an award to those categories every year. So every year, what we do is we take out some of the awards that we had last year. We probably won't have it this year. And then this year we have new categories that we're going to be celebrating. And we're not just only celebrating the nominees. We're not only also celebrating the winners. We're also celebrating the nominees as well, because we believe all women are worth celebrating.
Right.
Yeah. And then we're relaunching Exquisite Magazine as Africa's #1 visibility platform, because what we do with the ELOYs as well is make sure we use it as a platform to push that visibility for every woman. So expect to come for a day of inspiration, a day of excitement, a day of celebrating, and just being unapologetically you and elegantly you.
Yeah.
I love it. I was about to ask that question, but she already answered, because I was about to say, there's the Exquisite Magazine that is a household name for so long, and then you're reinventing it to be like a digital platform to support individuals, SMEs and all. So I was about to dive and say,
It has been a digital platform since 2016, by the way. And this year, Exquisite turned 22, so we've been running for quite a while. And yes, it is a household name. It's also evolved over the years as well. So I suppose we're growing. As we're growing, we're evolving and becoming better.
No, I'm actually tempted to ask, do people still read magazines?
Online, yeah.
It's good to know. ELOY has actually championed visibility for women-led businesses, for over a decade as well. Why is visibility so important for women in business today?
It's extremely important. You can't be doing well and say, oh, nobody should know me. I'll tell you a short story. When we started Exquisite Magazine, when we started the ELOYs, I'm sure so many people would probably still be like, oh my God, so that's ELOY.
Yeah.
For so many years, I was like, oh, people don't need to know me. They just need to know the brand. But then again, I realized that people do business with who they know. Yeah. So if they don't know you, if they don't know about you, and they're hearing about the brand, yes, it's good to hear about the brand, but what about the person behind the brand? Because the brand is essentially you as well, actually. So visibility is very, very important. I went to an event a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said something that visibility is not vanity. And I completely agree with that. Toot your own horn. The world is not going to say, oh, Tewa, where are you? What are you doing? No, you have to introduce yourself to the world and let the world know what you're doing, so that we can see where, things can happen or you can fit into and things like that. So visibility is highly, highly important, especially now that we're in an era where on social media, you don't know what's real or what's fake anymore. So if you're not putting yourself out there, people are just going to assume that, okay, maybe he or she is not doing anything. And in the world, if you're not known for something, you're not known for anything. True. Basically.
I know, because time is always running when you have one of your girls on the set. You've collaborated with a lot of incredible partners over time. So what opportunities are available with this, this year, maybe for organizations, individuals, or people just wanting to support or partner with ELOY?
Oh, so many opportunities. So for individuals, everybody, we're inviting everyone to come to the ELOY conference tomorrow. So at the ELOY conference, we're talking about breaking barriers. I'm always mixing it up. Breaking barriers.
Put it up for us, please. Can you put up the ELOY?
We're building bridges. Let's just say that we're building bridges and we're breaking barriers tomorrow. And we're talking about collaboration, because collaboration is key. Nobody can achieve anything on their own, working in silos. It has to be, that's what I'm talking about, the unstoppable mind. Cultivating a growth mindset. And I'm talking about that because at the beginning of everything, the mindset has to be right. When the mindset is right, everything else follows. And then with the conference, we're celebrating women who are unapologetic about what they're doing, and they're boldly going out there, daring to become the best versions of themselves. So companies can be a part of it by sponsoring a category or sponsoring the whole event. It's not too late, even if though it's tomorrow, you can still join the bandwagon. And we have our strategic partners as well. So all we do doesn't end at the conference and awards tomorrow. It still goes on. Because remember that all through the year, we're training women in business, we're helping them build thriving businesses, we're supporting their business, and also giving them access to affordable finance, mentoring, and everything else to continue to, to grow.
Wow, thank you.
I think I was just soaking in everything you were saying. Her voice is just so soothing. I'm like, I'm carrying my bag for mentorship. Dr. Tewa Dr. Tewa, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And, you know, I'm happy that I was the one that asked the first question and then not the one saying thank you on behalf of everybody. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And again, congratulations on 17 years of ELOY Awards. And then we can't wait to see the winners emerge.
Yes, I have all my girls nominated.
So just so you know, yes, Tolu has been nominated as well. Catherine has been nominated as well. So you know, we hope at least one of them win. Or both of them, if there's anything like that.
Awesome. Now, after this break, we have Sola Oyebade. He will be back at Jasiri's table to talk men, identity, and pressure. Stay with us.
Welcome back and thank you for staying on Jasiri. Well, so you know, there is actually a version of manhood that many of us were taught to admire: strong, silent, unshakable. But real men feel deeply, they struggle quietly, and they often face their toughest battles alone. Now today we want to understand those realities with honesty and empathy. We want to create a room for truth-telling, emotional support, and new conversations that redefine what it means to be a man. And today we're joined by Sola Oyebade for this important conversation. Sola, welcome back to the show. I know I wasn't here last week, but then, you know, I'm here today.
You missed.
It was so much fun. Judith came at him like a boxing glove.
I can imagine.
Oh, God.
I'm still suffering PTSD.
Wow. Forgive.
All right. Thank you for joining us again. You know, Jasiri hit the street to see what people thought about the issues that men face and more. Let's listen to what they have to say before we begin to ask our question. So Jasiri on the street.
I vehemently believe that our society doesn't take note of what men go through. Because as it stands, we are in a world where people take things for granted, a whole lot of negligence. We've not been able to know what human feelings are like. Men have been burdened with so much responsibility, in which we've not been able to look at what they are going through and how they make ends meet in their various homes and the society at large.
They don't know what men are going through in the society. Because as a man, if you are to open up things that you go through, sometimes it may not even make you mature, because there are many things you must keep as a man that you don't need to share. Yes, but society itself, they know, but they pretend not to know.
I think it's more of taking cognizance of what men go through if you are inclined to such situation. For example, men knows what they go through. You understand? Women might not know, but men know what they go through.
You know, these things are majorly personal to men. At times, men usually keep some things to themselves, while either, you know, when they have to do with the family, you know, personal things, that has to do with work. So they have something that they kept to themselves, you know, in order to, you know, be able to showcase the man who they believe in themselves.
Someone who is a driver, who drives commercial vehicles on a daily basis, facing different passengers with their own characters. Are you hearing me? Coming back home as every other man come back home. The woman who has been sitting at home or who went to an office where she is collecting AC on air will not know the kind of challenges that man passes through on a daily basis.
What makes you a man is when you are married with kids. When you have money, you are still flexing up and down. There are few people that will regard you as man.
Men don't really speak out when it comes to challenges. They rather prefer to confide with their close friends. So it's not in the public domain. The problems men go through, I think it's within the circle of men.
Is there any platform for men to hear their opinion or views? I don't think so.
We are in a world where they generalize every human being, where they tell you what men can do, a woman can do so, the same way we are born as a woman, the same way I am born as a man. So they don't give men actually all the whole audience they need to express themselves.
As a people, there should be a freedom of expression, freedom of speech, but men are not given that very avenue. But like I said, we are all humans, and men also have emotions.
Sola, when you heard, I'm sure you heard everything the Nigerian men had to say, because all the people that talked were men. So do you really think that...
Well, just before, so sorry about that, Lolo. Just before Sola speaks, I think we have to go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, then you can ask the question. So sorry about that.
Welcome back. You're still watching Just Syria. We still have Sola with us, and he was just about to answer the question that I was going to put to him. When we listen to all the men on, Just Syria on the streets, I feel for them. But do you think that we as a society, do we really have the sense of the kind of pressures that men face and the ones that they are under constantly? Do we really see it?
I think it depends on what we mean by definition of society. Are we talking about generally men and women, or are we talking about women only? Because I feel if it's women only, do women really care what pressures we're going under? So long as we deliver, they're not really bothered. That's
how some men see it.
How men see it. Society generally, even some of your own men that are going through the same problems, can turn around and say to you, man up. I was speaking to a colleague of mine that's in the industry yesterday. He was saying that this year he's taken a lot of time out. He's been a recluse, taken a lot of time out to rediscover himself, to deal with his mental health, to deal with not mental health issues, but to deal with his
health, his
mind. Yes, his mind.
Relax.
Take time out to think. So it means that, and this is something I look up to now. When he said that to me, I literally opened my mouth like, you? Yeah. I have it doing this. Because I see him as a very strong man. He's a pastor. He's got a good support system around him. He's quite liberal in terms of his thinking and stuff like that. But he's still talking about the same pressures that other men are talking about. So I don't think society really cares.
Wow.
That's how I see it.
Well,
do you agree that society doesn't care? I think society does. Yeah.
Then why is society not helping then? If society does, why is society not trying to take away the pressures that men are going through? If you say society is helping, give me some examples of how they're helping.
I think the men would have to come out and agree, first of all, that there's a problem or they have a problem before society rallies around to help them.
But when we do come out, you say, man, now what's your problem?
But the thing is...
be a man.
Yeah,
so the moment you start attacking us like that, we start to withdraw back into our shell.
Sorry, before
but
you
the thing
withdraw,
is that because we're new, these are different times. We can't just keep talking about what used to be. We have to move into what is now. And that's why we're having conversations like this. Right. And on this table alone, this year, we have spoken so much about men issues. And women cannot keep advocating for men. We are advocating for ourselves.
Right.
So men have to step up too and advocate for themselves.
Now that you said that, I was told, because I was not here, that you said women should fight for men. Right? And of course, there was back and forth, and you were terrified of Judith's jabs and all that. But how can we, like she mentioned, women are fighting for themselves. How can you also fight for someone who's not acknowledging that there's an issue or there's a problem? So what is the best way, an effective way for women to help our fight for your people?
Well, I think it's when you look at the female struggle, for example, it was when women decided they were going to come out and fight for their rights, fight for the changes that they wanted in society, that things started changing. It took a while. It didn't happen overnight. It was a struggle. Many people paid a high price to get the freedoms that women have now. It's the same thing with men. To help men, people have to come out and say there is an issue.
Yeah.
And that men should not be afraid to recognize that they have issues or they have concerns or they have things that they want to talk about. I mean, just last week I had a conference about this sort of stuff, and we brought men together, just men, to talk about men's issues. And you'd be amazed at how the sort of things that were coming out, it covered every single aspect of society or the things that men face. So men are going for a lot, but we're told not to. You know, it's not good for a man to cry. You know, it's a sign of weakness.
Well, for me, I really do not see that as a sign of weakness, honestly, except if you're being manipulative as a man, right? And you did talk about, you know, a pastor friend of yours who decided to take time off to take care of himself and his mental health as well. But then, what do you think are the most overlooked emotional and psychological challenges that men face in Nigeria today?
Well, I mean, we know that the incidences of mental health issues among black men and men in Nigeria is the highest issue that is out there. I mean, I don't think we have enough professionals that men can go and talk, because this is it's a professional issue. It's not me sitting down with you ladies and hey guys, I'm going through some mental issues. It needs someone that's a professional to talk to them and talk them through the process and hopefully get them out of it. So that is a major, major problem. And it's a combination of everything. It's the pressures of looking for money, you know, paying rent, school fees, you know, dealing with your wives and girlfriends and all those sort of things. And by the time you compile them, it's like a pressure cooker. You know, and we're keeping it all inside. It's like, you know, like what it's like when you have a pressure cooker. Everything cooks till it's ready, and then it just blows out. And that is what is happening at the moment. How do we change that? What do we do? How, more importantly, do we get men to understand that they need to talk about these things? You know, you can go to some parts of Nigeria, and I will say this categorically, you cannot talk about these things. You know, you seriously be torn to pieces by both men and women.
But if we keep talking about this, how people used to respond to men and how they don't give them maybe the listening ear, or how they don't have the enabling environment, or whether we like it or not, men will still have financial issues. And I beg to differ, because now, when my mother was growing, I would say that the bulk of the finances was my father's. But it's no longer the same. In almost not every home, but a lot of homes now, there are equal participation when it comes to finances. So this thing that men shout about, that finances is a major problem.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one. For some homes, it might be like that, but it's not equal. I mean, if you look at things like which go on I'm going to use social media, for example, yes? Social media tells men it is your responsibility to pay for your wife's wig, frontals, jewelry, her Hermes handbag, and all those sort of things that they need. It's also a responsibility to pay for all the school fees, to pay for the food in the house, to pay for rental, to get a new car, and to do all those sort of things. So where's the equal opportunities? There's not that many. I mean, I think I said it last time. That in the old days, you had a situation where you had some women that were covering for their husbands because they were the ones that earned the money. They were the ones that paid the school fees, that did all the things. But what did they do? They gave it to their husband. And the husband was the one that then got and gave it to the children and said, these are your school fees. Now,
but there are lots of women who do that now.
They do.
A lot of women do that still.
You know, a lot of
that
women.
They give the money?
Yeah, they do.
No, I'm talking about the ones that give it to the husband.
Yes.
So we should continue.
Are we saying that's the old school? Are we saying that's the Gen Z or the millennials that are doing
No, not the millennials or Gen Zs.
No, millennials.
Maybe the early millennials, not even the late millennials.
So then who's doing? Because the majority of our society now is made up of Gen Zs and millennials. So if they're not doing it, then it means the majority of women are not doing it.
You know, there's so many expectations that we have, but it's still not as realistic as it used to be. Let's even focus on social media and the validation that comes from it. What kind of messaging, how do we begin to reshape the messaging that younger people are getting from social media, especially women? Because right now, almost every young woman I see is about empowerment of themselves, how they can better themselves. They are doing a lot of things to enhance their own lives. So what kind of messaging can social media how can we even refocus social media to be able to advocate for men and the things that they think they need to advocate for?
Well, I think the only way we can refocus the messaging on social media is to delete social media. And start again. We know that's never. We know that's never going to happen.
AI is taking over.
Exactly. So we know that's never going to happen because there's two types of messages on social media now. So you have the very strong, positive woman that is doing things and going places and doing amazing. Then you have the second side of social media, which is the woman that dictates and says that every man should pay for everything that she has. You know, I need a thank you for coming. I need all these sort of things. Do you understand? So the messages that men have is that, there's one side of the woman that is making too much money, is too strong. I can't go there.
can't go
On
there.
the other side, there's the woman that wants me to give her everything and I can't afford it. Where am I?
But are we ever going to be able to achieve any kind of balance? Because I think that men are taking like a weak stand. Because if this is something that is, as we're bringing these matters to fore now, it's a big issue that we really need to find a way to solve. Because it's not even about our generation. It's about the next generation. Because the crop of women that we're building, they are very self-possessed.
I'm glad
Whether
you used the
men
word
like
possessed.
it-
Sounds like exorcist. Seriously, it's that
they're
bad.
all about self.
Yes.
And they've seen some of their mothers and they're like, no,
Can't be like my
I
mom.
never want to be like my mother. I don't want to ever do what my daddy does. I don't ever want a man like my father. So where do we now begin to create this change?
If we start like that, God help us.
Well, like we say, everything starts with, it's a journey. You know, you have to put that first foot forward and build on it. So we need to start changing the narrative. It will take a while, but we need to change the narrative. We need to start putting more positive stuff on social media. We need to start showing the achievements of men like we do the achievements of women. Because you women, man,
You that
guys
had the
are good at
patriarchy
PR.
forever.
Yeah, but we were not smart with promoting ourselves.
Right.
Women are the best PR company in the world as a whole. I mean, when you guys talk about yourselves, seriously, you would think that sliced bread was a very bad invention. Women are good at promoting it, and men are not. We know we like to be in the quiet. You know, they say you shouldn't be boasting too much. Why are you boasting about what you're doing, what you're achieving? But for a woman will come together. You guys will get together as a group and start shouting on the mountaintop.
Well, women support women, I agree.
Yes, women support women. Men support men quietly.
Right.
But we also need women to support us in a change of attitude in how they deal with us.
Okay, so the thing is, for boys and men, they're alpha male influencers, red pill content. I wish I know what that is. Music that, of course, glorifies, materialism and more. And we see that, social media and pop culture seem to be shaping, young men's perspective of success and relationships. And of course, you're still here with us, and how do you think we can counter, these narratives while still embracing positive aspects in our lives? And of course, how can young men in this generation differentiate between positive role models and destructive influencers?
Oof. Man, I think I need a degree to answer that one.
Where are the role models?
Where are they?
Being honest with you, they're very few. They're very few. When I look at a lot of I think you raised a good point. When we look at a lot of our artists, the music that comes out of them nowadays, I think it's
like
destructive.
the word, the music that comes out of them.
I don't even know what's coming out.
It's very destructive. You hear the words, how they talk about women, how they talk about money, the sort of things that they want to do to get it. And then these are the idols that people are looking up to. You're looking up to this artist, oh yeah, I want to be like that person, or that's my idol. And then, of course, if that's your idol, then whatever comes out of his mouth, as far as you are concerned, it's something that you should be doing, or you want to aim towards, or copy. And it doesn't work because it's just very, very destructive. And I really don't know how you change culture. Like, that's why I said delete social media. If you delete it and start again, then maybe we might change over a period of time. But otherwise, how are we going to do it?
I don't know.
I don't have the answer. But I think with time, if we start to put more conferences together, get more professionals out there that men are able to talk to, and I'm going to say, and I know that women will say, but look, we're finding it hard enough to support ourselves. Why should we support men? We also need women to support us as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And women are powerful.
Oh,
women
yes,
are extremely powerful.
We are.
So if they now decide to put their foot down and say, men, sort your lives out, otherwise we're coming for you, things will change.
I hope so.
I hope
they take that mandate from us. We'll be going on a very short break. By the time we return, we'll still talk a little more about the kind of violence that can come from homes and, generally. We'll be back.
Welcome back. Now we're still talking about some of the harsh realities that men face. So we're trying to dissect and trying to understand what men go through in society today and how we can help them. And we still have Sola Oyebade. He is CEO, Mahogany International, still with us, in this discussion. Thank you for staying with us, Sola.
It's a pleasure always to be here.
We're helping you, so stay with us.
That should have said that. How they want us to help them.
Yeah, exactly, because he said he wants us to help. And I'm sure there are lots of women who are willing to help, but then will the men or do the men even listen to them? That's a big question. Yeah. But then before we go into that, earlier Queen talked about, Lola talked about social media, Queen talked about pop culture influences. So what of religious and cultural influences, Sola? Speak to us. How do we counter these influences that are deeply ingrained in a country like Nigeria? Because these influences actually enable and justify many men. You agree with me on that?
I
deep
question. I have to. I mean, I'm personally, as a man, I'm speaking as a man and also as an individual, I'm very disillusioned with the church. I feel that the messaging that comes out of it is not always positive and is not always helpful, and pastors, religious leaders, whatever you might refer to them, they have a powerful influence in our society,
very powerful.
in Nigeria. So if they change the messaging, I think a lot of things will change. But a lot of them are also of that philosophy that, as a man, be strong. You've got to stand up. And they don't portray the kind of messages that need to be portrayed, which is women support your man, man support your women. Do things equally. You understand? If you've got issues, talk to us. So you have churches that provide a lot of marriage counseling. But how many churches are providing counseling for men and for around mental health issues and what it is to be a man in today's society? Those things are needed as well, and they can provide it. Let me not even get into it.
It's the society that we live in right now. Sometimes I know that it can be very hard on men, and their realities are not easy. And of course, when we're looking at things like poverty, economic hardship, and because this in the last, maybe I think it started on Monday, the 16 days activism, focusing on eliminating gender-based violence. We see that a lot of homes experience violence. And sometimes the men are the perpetrators of this violence. And sometimes, unfortunately, we have to balance it out. Women are the ones perpetrating this violence. But now, it's not anybody's fault sometimes, because we were trained to believe that men are traditionally providers. You're supposed to be the one to provide, and the woman is just supposed to nurture. But unfortunately, the roles have changed. Women are making as much money as men are making.
If not more.
If not more in some homes. But now that we have this change and disparity, it's no longer what it used to be. How do we train the men of today that they have to know that being providers is not the only work or the only duty that they have as men? And unfortunately, some men are even better nurturers than women now. I know some homes where the father of the house is basically like the wife of the house. He's more domestic, he's hands-on with the children. How do we now tell men that being sole providers is not the only role?
So do we now start to pick is, you know, we seem to like Western culture, but we seem to pick and choose what we want to copy from them. Because if you look at the Western culture and when you see Nigerian men go with their families to the UK or America or any places like that, all of a sudden, you know, they're doing their own share of domesticated stuff. But the moment they step back into Nigeria,
the spirit of I'm your man.
And part of it arises from the family, because you have either, in some cases, you have your sister or your mother say, what are you doing? You're doing what? And they will attack the woman or the wife for allowing that to happen. So that pressure is also on the man to kind of withdraw back because it's not seen as
culturally.
Yes, as culturally the right thing. But also it's how would I put it? It's like, I know I keep going back to the woman because women are influential, they're very important. How can a woman also help change the man? And by that I mean it's like this. If I speak to some of my guys and they say, how would you feel if your woman was earning more than you? A lot of them will say, I don't have a problem with her earning more than me. But it's the disrespect that will come with it when she's earning more than me. Because it will be used against me, particularly when they're fighting.
Right.
And that is why a lot of men tend to run away from women that are earning more than them because of the disrespect. However, if they felt that there was going to be mutual respect, it would not be used against them, there is more chance that they will be willing to accept it.
Right.
Not saying totally, but there'll be more chance that they'll be willing to accept it. The Western man, that's the man abroad, doesn't have that problem because it's very unlikely that his wife or girlfriend will use that against him and insult him with it. Also because they don't see those things as insults anyway. It is us that are strong African men.
So now, would you say that the way Nigerian men are thinking is because of the way they grew? So do you think we need to redefine what masculinity is all about? Because
Definitely.
why will you be thinking, oh, my wife is any more? That means it's equals to disrespect.
I agree. We do have to change that. I mean, I grew up abroad and I don't have a problem with it. There were times my wife would come and pay our rent. What's my own? Next time out, it's me that will come and pay, or I'll go and buy the car, or whatever it has to be. And we have that balance. And there's not a problem. When things were, because I'm self-employed, so you know what it's like, particularly for men, and women have to recognize that when men are self-employed, the money is not always constant. It's not always consistent. Sometimes you're up, you're buoyant, and then you can go and do all those big purchases. Sometimes you don't even have enough to even eat.
Absolutely.
And that's when you have to rely on your wife or your girlfriend to come and say, hey, we're working this thing together. And she can say, okay, don't worry, I got you.
Bushola, you know, our mothers, they did this, we're doing it together. And I know many of them got the short end of the stick. And, you know, and that continued over the generations. Maybe that is what, you know, made women very hostile to men when it comes to provision.
But isn't that life? I mean, there's always going to be things that will go wrong. There's always going to be a man that will mess up or a woman that will mess up. That's life. You can't say because that thing happened to a few people, then it has to be to everybody. It's about how you manage your own particular situation. Who is your partner? How are they? You know, I mean, I have certain people in my life that I will never allow them to earn more than me because my life will be hell.
But
so you have to know who the person is. Then there's other people that I know that we can walk side by side. She can earn 200 times more than me, and I will not be bothered, and nobody would ever know about it.
At least you're earning something, because these days so many men do not want to earn anything. They just want to depend on the woman. I really wish we had more time to actually discuss this, but it was very, very, very interesting. Now I see what you guys, you know, met.
It was so fun because
it was really interesting. And there's so many questions that we actually still have.
So many. I'm keeping quiet because if I open of what is in my mind, we're not going home today.
I just found out that the more we talk about these topics, the more we see opportunities. And I'm hoping that those that missed the first interview would need to go and watch it on our YouTube page, because the wealth of wisdom that was dished out on this table is enough for you to rethink so many things about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sola, for gracing us with your presence. Thank you. Well, this conversation reminds us of something simple but powerful, that men are not machines. They're human beings shaped by the stories that we tell them, the expectations we place on them, and the spaces that we give or deny them to grow. So if we want healthier men, we must raise healthier boys. And if we want empathy, we must model it. So if we want responsibility, we must teach it. And if we want accountability, we must normalize it and not fear it. So change the culture around masculinity is not, or changing the culture around masculinity is not a battle against men. It is an invitation for them to show up fully, honestly, and humanly. It is a collective responsibility from parents to schools to faith institutions to society at large, because when men are supported to be emotionally whole, everybody wins. I'm talking about families, communities, and the nation, and even me. I get to win. Lola gets to win. Queen gets to win. And even Shola wins, right? All right, bye for now. See you tomorrow.